Welcome back to another week of Kernel at the Buzzer. Before this podcast starts, we want to remind you that everyone on today's podcast has their own opinions and they do not reflect the Kernel in entirety. Welcome back to another week of Kernel at the Buzzer. I'm your host, Kai McClelland, this week. I'm joined once again by my co-host Schill, my co-host AJ Nava, and this week we're welcoming our guest Landon Smith, a sports reporter for the Kentucky Kernel.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So Landon, we want to talk to you about this transfer portal stuff. We've talked about it a couple weeks, but it's finally starting to dial down. We're in the ending stages of it, but there's still a whole lot more to be done. I know you had some opinions recently. Lamar Wilkerson chose to go to Indiana over Kentucky. So how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely kind of a tough miss. But, I mean, I think it's kind of a good problem to have, you know. Like, the reason he went here to Indiana was for a bigger role that we just couldn't really give him. And so I think like the optimistic way to look at that is like we have too many people in the backcourt that we wouldn't really be able to fit him anywhere. And I think that's why he went to Indiana. And so I think just like it's a problem, but it is kind of a good problem to have. We just such a crowded backcourt, I think. So, like, I know a lot of people are mad at him for like going to Indiana or whatever, but personally, I can't really blame him. He got more money, he got more playing time, so I get it. But I think there are more shooters still in the portal, so I think, you know, it's a tough miss, but I think we can still find someone to fill that role. So.
Yeah, it was kind of weird to me because we saw, like, the Keeneland photos come out, and we saw, like, you know, I don't know this is true, but, like, I'm pretty sure his uncle was said to be, like, the coach of the track team.
That's what I heard as well.
Like, there's some, like, real connections, like, on some middle schooler stuff, like, we saw he was following the staff and following, you know,
we were just being kind
following
of like
Lowe and
stalkers.
Ortega back, and we're like, okay, he's coming to Kentucky.
I thought when he petted the horse, that was when I thought
he was following Ortega and Mo,
and I was like, man, okay,
he's
like,
coming.
wow, Kentucky.
I mean, here's the thing, I don't want to say Kentucky Barstool put just say the lights are too bright, buddy, and I thought it was really funny when I first saw it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, just like Landon's alluding to, like, we have to take into consideration that he's looking for a bigger role. He's a guy that just averaged 20 at Sam Houston, by God.
Yeah,
I mean,
50%
he wants to
shooting.
He wants to go somewhere where he's, like, for sure 100% the guy. And at Kentucky, I forget who it was, but someone was bringing up a Bradley Beal example. And he was like, do you know how hard it is to transition from being the guy to being one of the guys? And you see why the Suns are so bad this year. It's almost kind of alluding to, like, Lamar would be in that confined role where he doesn't have the ball 30 times a game, and he almost wouldn't be the same player that Kentucky's expecting him to be. So
it's kind of a psychological thing.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't.
I thought it was a really good example to kind of, like, break it down. Like, yeah, we're looking at him through this lens, but if we look through this lens, he probably wouldn't have fit Kentucky the best. So
he also got a bag at Indiana.
I mean, that's another huge reason.
It was like an estimated like $500,000 more to go to Indiana or something like that.
Man.
And
It's
that's
the
an
world we live
estimated
in.
500,000 more reasons to go.
Yeah, right. That's a house.
I like the
for
way
your
you
parents.
pointed it out, though. It's a good problem for Kentucky to have. We're so deep. They're so deep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good positive way of looking at it.
That's why
I haven't really
Lewis
thought of
left
it that way.
a week ago. Caden Lewis, he left because he didn't think his role was going to be big enough. So, and like, I get it from his perspective, but like, again, I think it's kind of a good problem to have. It's like, it's better than like just not being a good enough program to land these guys who are like too good for them almost, you know. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at this guy right here. Is another name that's
I was just looking at that
popped
too.
up.
I was like, all right, Lane.
Isaiah Swoop. That's just fun to say. He's going to swoop in and come
Do we
to
know
Kentucky.
it's swoop? It looks like it's spelled like swope to me.
Oh, really?
SWOPE typically.
I don't know. Maybe I'm.
We can argue about his name later.
Yeah, we can
Let's
argue
focus
about
on
that
his
later.
game.
But, you know, come from St. Lou, the Lou Man, like, that's his nickname, by the way, the Lou Man. But he's going to be the Blue Man, I feel like. He's really trending for multiple schools. Kentucky hasn't reached out officially or nothing like that, but it's kind of a name that's sprinkled there. out there. And we also got Trayson Eaglestaff
Mhm.
decommitting from South Carolina. It's seeming like West Virginia over anybody. That's what the big dogs are saying. But, Kentucky was in that little conversation there at the start of the transfer portal when it all began for Eaglestaff. So maybe they can swoop in there. One name, I know y'all are going to call me absolutely delusional, but Ian Jackson's still floating around, and Kentucky's inserted themselves in the conversation. It's a crazy world to even think about if Ian Jackson ever comes to Kentucky. Do y'all think that's a reality? I mean, is it just a sweet wish from a delusional North Carolina fan?
I would usually say it's a sweet wish from you, but it's the world we live in. Transfer portal, NIL, anything is possible. We live in a world where Amari Williams and Weetabix could get an NIL deal.
Yeah.
We live in a reality where Jackson can come over here and get some work done.
Yeah, he's gotten, I guess it's hard because all of the estimates and, this guy seems interested in this guy is all, like, realistically fluff because of the rumors. But, I've heard the name Ian Jackson around with Kentucky the last week or so. We had the graphic ready just in case
the crazy happens.
Just in case he decides to commit. But right now Kentucky's name is still on that list, but I don't think it's on the short list.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to happen.
I kind of agree with that. It kind of seems like there are a lot of teams ahead of us, but he does really fit really well. He's a great shooter. He shot 40% last year from 3, averaged 12 points a game or something like that. So it would be a really good addition. I think he fits a lot better than Wilkerson does, just because he can fit that sort of sharpshooter like Kobe Bryant role almost. But I don't know if it's super likely. I think we're probably a little bit too late on him. So
yeah, it seems like the two names that I was just as a fan of college basketball, it's okay, if they come to Kentucky, it's done. And it was Xavier Lee and Ian Jackson. But both of those guys have been trending for St. John's. Xavier's taken a lead for Florida, I'm pretty sure. Just because Kentucky's in the conversation doesn't always mean that they're going to go get him. I think that's a sad delusion that BBN is under. You reach out to all these guys, and you're like, okay, let's go ahead and insert him in the starting lineup, and let's start to, brainstorm some more guys, and then he ends up going to freaking Indiana like Lamar did, and you completely miss out.
It's not very often that you get a guy who passed up on a school come back in a year later and be like, sure, you know what I mean? I guess you could say Jaden Quaintance did it.
Yeah, but
it's a little different.
It's a different scenario there. Ian Jackson, he was top 10 prospect.
He was number 2 behind Cooper Flagg.
He was number 2?
Yeah.
Dang, I forgot about that.
He was him.
24
was.
Let's see, 24/7 has him as number 7 in the portal right now, the number 2 shooting guard.
Yeah.
But
okay, solid.
It's looking like everything I'm seeing has him going back to New York City, playing with Rick at St. John's.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But it makes the most sense to me.
I'm trying to think for Kentucky men's basketball and think okay, what do they really, really need? And frankly, I think the number one get for Mark Pope right now, your front court is done. Your forwards are done.
Absolutely.
You got to
got
get
no room left anyways.
Yeah, there's 2 spots left, I'm pretty sure.
No, and I'm saying for bigs, really.
No, not at all.
You got no room left for bigs.
No room. I think we got to explore the guards that are out in the transfer portal, and right now we got to break it down and see who you all think, but there's got to be a defensive guard out there that can replace Lamont Butler's intensity, because I know I was kind of tangenting, but Lowe and Jasper bring the offense. There's no worry about that, and we know that off the bench as well, there's guys that can sub in for those two and make up on the offensive side. But there's not really guys anymore that have that type of defensive pressure. I don't know if y'all have a name that's out there right now, but I mean, are they just going to work with what they got there,
Eaglestaff could help with that a little bit. He's a little shifty, getting in the passing lanes, taking steals away. Obviously, he isn't going to get you any blocks because I mean,
I
he's
thought he was
6'6".
bigger. Yeah, I thought he was 6'6".
He's
bigger guy,
6'6",
so-
but like I don't think he's really locking in on that. But yeah, he was 1.1 steals last season. It's not horrible. The stats that he was putting up in general looks good, but regardless of that,
What do his stats look like?
last season it was 19, 2 and 3 with a steal, shooting 36% from 3 and 41% from the field. So not bad.
Yeah.
Like that's a good player.
I think.
But I
this
feel
is
like
my assessment on it. Every time we make like a projected starting lineup, and we even did it.
yeah.
Otega's at the 3. Otega could play a 2, and Cam Williams.
Yeah, I
could
was
start.
thinking about that.
There's
That's
no
what I
problem with that, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you gonna
Just
say?
needs-
Well, I was gonna say I kind of agree with that. And I think maybe you could just have like Jasper Johnson be like a 6th man almost, because he can
Yeah.
play like point guard and shooting guard.
Like
so
what
it'd
Reed
still give
Shepherd
him-
did, honestly.
Yeah, like I would like that role from him a lot because he's a combo guard, so he could come in for both positions. And I think that's kind of valuable for someone off the bench. I think he could be like a really good 6th man, with just how good he is offensively. You know, add some like energy once he comes off. So I kind of like that. And plus, Owe's only 6'5", so he's kind of small to be playing the 3. So I think playing Cam Williams would probably be better. So.
And I mean, a guy that is a forward, but also could play a guard. We got Braden Hawthorne, right? Braden
Yeah,
Hawthorne.
Hawthorne.
I got to get used to saying that. He's visiting
You
Kentucky
struggle with
today.
your accent in that one a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah, yeah.
A little bit.
Hawthorne, one of those. But no, man, he's visiting Kentucky today, and number 71 overall player, number 16 small forward for this year's class. Talking about West Virginia already with the Eagles staff, maybe that's a world where Kentucky and West Virginia are in cahoots, and they're like, you know what? Let's take Hawthorne. Y'all can have Eagles staff. Boom, boom. Everything
Everyone's
works out.
happy.
Yeah.
We'd be happy with him. 6'8", 7'3" wingspan.
Yeah.
Kind of feel that.
And I was kind of just thinking, kind of like what you said with the Caden, like it's not really a guy that's going to come in here and instantly be like needing the ball, demanding the ball, having to score
Yeah.
15 points a game, or he's not happy. This is kind of, a kid who's, he's between West Virginia and Kentucky. He's not out there trying to steal money from all these schools or be a pain in anybody's behind. Like, he's actually about basketball, and that's a good kid to have no matter what team you are. So
Right, for sure.
Braden Hawthorne's on the agenda now.
Yeah.
Another name, it's a lot. Like, we got to keep up with it, but Jaron Pierre, man, he's gone. He went to
he's
SMU.
gone. That one honestly was a little surprising. Not that he didn't go to
He got a
Kentucky, but
bag.
that he went to SMU. But yeah, the bag.
He was kind of out the picture when the Lamar heat was kind of picking up. but-
Yeah, because everyone thought, well, if
There-
Lamar's going to go to Kentucky, they don't need me here.
Yeah,
I
there
think that was probably his
there
thought.
was a point in time though, before Levick committed from, it's Croatia. Is that where he's from?
One of those.
Yeah.
It's
he's European. But
let me
Let's
look it
stick
up.
with that
Before
we get the
Dredgy.
exact
How do you spell?
huh?
How do you spell his last name?
It's
Levick.
Levick, I think.
facts. Don't ask
Love
me.
it.
I'm not getting this wrong on the podcast.
Guys, we write about this.
yeah,
and,
hold on.
make graphics.
Kentucky.
We got to know, man.
Transfer from overseas. Sorry,
Guys.
it's just tough. This is, yes. Who is this guy? What's his name?
I'll
Oh,
read his
please.
name here.
What? Andrija
y'all
Jelic.
were talking about Jelic the
Jelic.
whole time.
Yeah.
You guys' last name completely wrong.
It's not Jelic.
It's
Yell.
Jelic.
It's Yell.
It's
Jelic?
Jelic.
Oh.
It's Jelic. Andrija Jelic.
Unfortunately, I saw somebody call him the Jelly Man, and it's like you don't even pronounce his name like Jelly. Like
That'd be a
stop,
sick
bro.
nickname.
That would be
the
nice.
Jelly Man. I
Anyway.
feel like it's a little bit like 10 years late to start
Yeah.
referring to people in the basketball world as like jelly.
Yeah, I remember that Jelly fan. Back to the point, like before Yelovich even committed, I think a lot of people were thinking Mark Pope was already done with the front court, and you pick up another forward. So there was kind of a time period there where everyone was thinking Jaren and Wilkerson. And let me tell you that, that would have been to a point where it's like, who in the world do you play? Who do you start? Who do you, who's getting the minutes? Like, that almost opens up a world where Travis Perry doesn't even touch a court or Trent Nova doesn't even touch a court. So it's kind of weird, all these rumors floating around, and then it's changing day by day by day by day. It's hard to keep up with, but
do we even have faith in Jelavic?
Oh, yeah.
I like him. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's from overseas. I'm a fan of anybody from that part of the world of basketball at this point.
I'm a little
it's
iffy about him. You
got to think about the odds of those guys coming over and being like horrible are pretty low. They're already making the trip. Big Z was very good at basketball.
He was very good at basketball. Very underwhelming last year.
What do you mean? He wasn't underwhelming. He was just hurt.
He was just hurt. Couldn't grab a rebound.
He came in and then did that behind the back pass to a 3 and then
he wasn't hurt.
Up.
They just
his visa or whatever.
It was like his admissions or whatever.
Yeah. It wasn't like complete.
And you know what? The only highlight you could think of was his first highlight at Kentucky, and then nothing else. That's it.
That's besides the point.
That's exactly my point.
I'm going to change up this talking while I'm getting cooked for a second. Probably AJ. I want to go back to Jalen Lowe because we were talking about no defense really from a lot of these transfers. He's like a pretty solid defender.
He's solid enough, I think.
He was putting up basically 2 steals a game last season. He is like, he's not very big, but he's not too small. He's not like Zakai Ziegler. Yeah. So I think
6'3" is a respectable height.
Yeah, that's like a. I'm trying to think of a comparison. What was Derek White? It's probably like 6'3", right?
Yeah,
something like that.
Derek White is 6.
He's like 6'5", maybe.
6'5", almost 6'7" at most.
In my head, he's just
like
a little guy.
He was like 6'7" before he shaved his head.
Yeah, yeah. He's 6'4" according to Google.
Yeah, but Jalen Lowe, 1.8 steals, 6'3", 175 pounds, from Texas. Shout out Texas.
All right, dude.
He could be someone that's more than just the cone on the court.
Yeah, that's like your
that's a body.
Lamont, because it's like a guy who's gonna get in your passing lane. In
that term, I thought you were comparing him to Lamont for a second.
On offensive, a little bit on defensive side of the ball.
That's a little bit of a stretch. Lamont was on a defensive different level.
Bro, how many games of Jalen Lowe have you watched and looked at his defense and thought, wow, this guy's a good defender?
A solid 35 minutes of
0 times. I know I know you haven't.
It's almost like getting a football player from the AFC North, though. Like the ACC, their brand of basketball, it kind of does open a pavement for Lowe to kind of like also transition to the SEC, but also, be used to that tough competition because even though the ACC is weaker, it's like, you can just, I don't know if y'all watch the ACC tournament at all, but like guys getting tackled and we're not calling it. So it's like.
Yeah, plus he spent like 2 years. So he's had experience there.
Yeah,
it's not like because obviously this year the ACC was very top heavy, but like in previous years it's been a little more even. So Pitt not being like an amazing team, but
a good thing to
still
add
the ACC
too is like Lowe's freshman year, I'm pretty sure he was able to like, he's not gonna be like the leading scorer at Kentucky. I'm assuming he'll be in that like top 5 range, but he's gonna be a good all around guy.
Yeah.
He was able to do that his freshman year, and then last year he had to be the guy.
Yeah, he really did. But he took over too.
Yeah, but he made the jump.
Yeah, he didn't let it kind of diminish who he thought he could.
He went from 9 points to 16 points. Like that's a great jump.
So it is a good like way to have a guy that can do a little bit of both.
Think?
I think like I don't know if he'll be like exactly as good as like Lamont Boiler defensively, but I think he makes up for it just because I think he does so much more like on the offensive side. Like he's a better passer. I think he's more like
he's a really
athlete.
good passer.
And I think with like you said, like with the limited role, I think his efficiency will go up because I know that was like a big concern about him. I think he shot like 27% from 3 or something like that. But I think
his first season when he was here, or when he was at Pitt, it was like 36%.
It was 35, and then it dropped to 26 when he took on the larger role.
That's kind of what I'm saying. I think if he has a smaller role, I think like that efficiency can go back up to like somewhere around where Lamont was, and then he brings so much more as like a passer. So I think he could be really good here, even if he's not quite the same defender.
Yeah, and the nice thing about Kentucky is that they got a lot of guard play.
Exactly.
And when you're probably the best defensive guard on the team, they'll use him for that more specifically. I think I don't think they're gonna put him out on the court whether he starts or not. I don't think they'll put him on the court and say, all right, we need 19 a game from you all season. They're probably, all right, we need 10 to 15 in like solid defense, and you need to just spread the rock around the court and help with spacing. And I think that that's a guy who's going to be able to do that very well.
For sure.
I'll make a point, and this can transition to the women's segment a little bit, but the game is becoming so reliant on having depth. Like every single time,
especially now that everyone's older.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All these guys that are playing long years and getting paid to go places, they sometimes get hit in the mouth with having to take a lesser role, or sometimes they're really gracious that they get a bigger role. And now in both men's and women's, every single national championship has a very solid 9 rotating players.
Yeah.
And talking about Kenny Brooks here, he's lost Georgia Amore and Deja Lawrence, the fruit and the breadbasket of your entire team. And he's already gone out and gotten 3 guards. Mm-hmm. And, you can mention Asia Boone and Josie Gilvin, who are coming from smaller schools. But yesterday, going out and getting Tani Morgan from Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech all season was like a team you did not want to see. And although their season didn't really round out how they wanted it to, you can still knock it up as successful. And kind of like Mark Pope too, you don't know who's going to start. You don't know like all the little good details yet. But if I were to make this lineup right now, I would throw Tani Morgan in that starting role. So, unfortunately, I know we don't have the news coverage for women's basketball like we do men. We don't have all these little, highlight reels. It was very hard to find a highlight reel of Josie Gilvin, and that kind of saddened me. But I want to know y'all's takes on having to replace the now number 6 WNBA draft pick, and how much this depth matters at that position.
Well, before anything, congratulations to
obviously.
Georgia Amore.
Congratulations.
First round pick, top 10 pick to the Mystics.
Almost top 5.
We were expecting her to be.
I was putting a graphic together, and I was
Mm-hmm.
planning on Sky or Sparks.
And then just snuck in there to 6.
Look at my phone. I'm like, holy moly, she's off the board.
Congratulations. So congratulations to the Wildcats, first and foremost.
Of course. But
it's almost impossible to fill that void on the team of Georgia Amore. That's why the depth is so important. You get these 3 new guards that can kind of come in and out of the lineup. I'm seeing Asia Boone, Josie Gilvin. That's a great pickup. And it's going to be – I'm interested to see how Kenny Brooks uses them in the year to come.
Yeah, and I will say, Josie Gilvin, dog, absolute dog. I worked the game for SEC Network. Kentucky played Western at home, and by the way, I think there's some crazy stat that like Kentucky or that Western Kentucky women's basketball is the winningest Division I basketball program in Kentucky. Or something like that.
Sure. I don't know.
It was like some crazy stat that we popped during the game. So I assume it's true because we wouldn't a lot of people on SEC Network TV. But absolute dog. She, didn't have an insane outing against Kentucky, but you could tell that it was like, all right, this girl's got the whole floor in her head and knows where everybody's going to be at every single second of the game. So even when she's not putting up, 20, 25 points per game, she's out there just commanding the floor. Mm-hmm. And it's very obvious that she's going to do so. Shoots 54%, usually shoots around anywhere from, 30 to 50% from 3, depending on how many she takes that day.
It was about 80% from the free throw line, right?
Yeah, something like that. But,
I would say, too, like the good thing about the pickup of Josie and Tani is that they're both going into their senior year.
Yeah.
And that matters so much, too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Kaylin Carroll coming in, star freshman. You have a young Lexi Blue and Dominica coming off of her injury. But besides those 3 there, everybody on this roster is either a junior or a senior.
Have we heard at all about, Madden Greenway was thinking about reclassing?
Oh, no, that's not happening.
Not happening? Because that would have been so awesome.
It
if she reclassed and come down, it would have been like, ooh, this team's going to be nice because she is so gross. She had baby Gronk at the game.
Yeah, that was just like a little Twitter, like,
Yeah.
A rumor.
You know, I'm just seeing from Josie Gilvin, looking at my notes, 2.6 steals per game.
Yeah.
All CUSA, all defensive teams.
No,
she's really, really good on the defensive end, is like what I found out about her. So like I think she could really help on that end. That's kind of maybe somewhere where Amor wasn't really as good. I think that's something like new with this team you could get with her. So I thought that was really interesting too. Is like she's so good at defense. So
yeah, maybe you don't get that offensive firepower, but you're gonna get like
and then
really smart play on both sides of the ball. If you want the offense,
you just put in Tawny Morgan because she averaged I think 14 a game last year.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you kind of get a good mix. With
I was watching her highlights. She's raw.
Yeah.
She's raw.
And I don't want to pick on Georgia or Deja, but
you don't have to. But go ahead.
Georgia's a horrible defender, bro.
Well, Asia and Tawny, who they've both picked up, are both bigger than Jordan and Deja.
And Josie is bigger, too. Like,
yeah, Josie's 6 foot.
Which is nice because they're adding to that size that they already have
like
down low, Tiani and Clara. And then, obviously, Clara Silva's
and even
in the portal. But
Jordan Obi, like, was a name that, like, I won't be surprised if she's listed as a guard just because they're good at forward. But, like, I'm thinking of a lineup that's going to be 6 foot. I'm sure Jordan Obi's 6'1", 6'2".
She's 6'1", yeah.
Okay, so there would be a lineup out there 6 foot, 6'1", 6'3", 6'5",
and 6'4", 6'5", yeah, whatever.
That lineup is in Kentucky.
An all 6 foot lineup for a women's basketball team
is ridiculous. And I think like they already had a big team last year. Mm-hmm. Georgia and Deja were the only that were like, all right, they're pretty small. Maybe like Sanaya, but she wasn't even a starter. So, but yeah, I mean, now it's like, all right, well, this team's big. But when you think about, all right, can Kenny Brooks use this roster to take down Texas, South Carolina? Like
it's becoming favorable now.
Tennessee again, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't even think that this team will be as good as they were last year right now, because I don't think you have somebody like Georgia who's going to go in and take your loss and drop 45 and turn it into a win.
Yeah, it's true. But I do think they have like maybe a little bit more depth to make up for that. But yeah, I think you do kind of make a good point. There's no one quite like her on the team, and I don't know if there will be someone quite like her for a while. I mean, she was just so good on the offensive end, but yeah.
I mean, look at South Carolina. I mean, their leading score per game is like hanging around the teens mark, like the low teens mark. And
they're so deep.
I know it's South Carolina, but 12 players like minimum that are coming into a game. So it's like that's how you win championships in women's basketball. And you know, Kenny Brooks isn't stupid. You know, he's a tenured guy. He knows what you got to do to win. And, you know, getting booted in the second round probably didn't feel too good, especially.
Probably. Definitely.
Yeah.
At home.
There were expectations for him. But
dude, at home.
At home, it was a heartbreaker.
That shot still rips my heart open. I got a real quick question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Obviously, Malaysia Fulwiley, not sure if you're familiar. But she's still in the transfer portal. Yeah. Not really thinking she's going to come anywhere near Kentucky, but
never know.
You never know.
I'm hoping on Flage. There's been some.
Flage would be really awesome, but the fact that
there's some rumors about her going in the portal.
Well, wasn't it as like she's either gonna decide on her rap career or her hoops career, and she's like planning on posting it soon. I saw that post she made.
I mean, look. Kenny Brooks has spoken very highly of Flage. He did before the SEC tournament.
She's so nice with it.
And I was like, man, that'd be a nice guard for Kentucky to have if you got $5 million in the bank account to get a player. But
but you'll just get her hooked up. Be like, hey, listen, you're closer to Nashville. We'll get you to some music deals. We'll figure it out.
Jelly Roll was in the facility. We'll get you hooked up.
Jelly Roll has a mural here. So,
how real do you think the full Wiley scenario would be?
I don't think it's
real.
I don't think it's possible at all.
Isn't she?
But she's transferring regardless. I don't think she'll go back to South Carolina, but I think if she goes to an SEC team, it'll be someone like Texas or Tennessee. Like, I don't think she'll go lower than where she is now at South Carolina.
She's 5'10", 11, 3 and 2.
Dude, 42%. She's got like a Steph Curry handle on the ball, dude.
She does, but she also shot 25% from 3 last year. So it's not a huge Steph Curry.
I said handle.
Okay.
I said she's got
Kyrie
Kyrie
handle.
All right, well, whatever. They both can handle the ball.
Yeah.
Whatever. You guys want to play a game?
Yeah.
Let's play a game.
Let's go.
Let's play a game. Basically, what we got today is blind ranking Kentucky players. I put together 5 sets of 5, and I'm going to list them off, and you guys are just going to have to – there's going to be nothing on the screen, by the way. So this is just going to be
okay,
nothing on the screen today.
Sorry. You
No,
got me,
it's
like,
okay.
queued
I know.
up
I got you. I got
with
you
a bell
looking.
like a dog.
I got you. Yeah, so you guys will just have to agree on 1 through 5 ranking.
Okay.
And
I love arguing
hopefully
with
you make
AJ.
the right
It's gonna be
decision.
I'm usually right when we argue.
Right.
All right, ready? First player, Bam Adebayo.
I love Bam.
4.
Yeah,
Four.
Probably 4.
4. Okay, you guys playing
Yeah.
safe.
Clean slate.
Rob Dillingham.
1.
Okay.
All right, dude.
Maybe the 2.
2.
I would say
You're going-
3.
That's
I
what
would
was
say
thinking. I was leaning 3.
Not
So
even
we all
2.
agree.
Yeah.
Landon's got 2, though.
Landon's got-
We can do 3.
Give me a reason
3?
why you think 2, though.
I don't know. He was just such a good scorer while he was here, I guess. But yeah, 3's probably better.
You could say he was a good scorer with I can think of 10 guys you could say that about.
His defense wasn't as good as some other guys, so.
All right, so we'll go 3.
We'll go 3.
I
All
want
right.
to go 3 because Cal just let the reins on him. He was like,
Yeah.
go,
True.
go,
True.
dude.
Yeah.
Maxey.
5.
Tyrese Maxey is
Well, I
worse
think-
than Bam and Rob
Yeah.
Dillingham.
I don't know. He was nice, but you're about
He
to
was
throw us
dropped like 40
but you're
something
about to
when he
throw
was
us
here.
AD and like
You don't know who I'm
Reed
throwing.
Shepherd.
You
Guys,
don't know.
We
You don't
already
know.
messed up because after this, I don't want to put him at 1. So we're only.
You guys have to put him
if
at
we
5
put-
or 2,
Keep it
basically.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we'll only have 1 or 5 left if we
You-
put him at 2.
I know
And
I
that's a
said last
bad
week
thing.
that I did say I'd cut Bam and start Maxey, so I'm gonna stick with the trend.
So you putting him at.
Oh,
I think we
right.
should put him at 2.
I'm saying 5. Like
What do you think?
I'm thinking 2 and we risk
That's
it.
majority,
I
bro.
think-
Sorry,
I think
Kai.
we
You got
should.
outruled.
Mm.
Maxey
Sorry,
at
Kai.
2. So right now you got Bam at 4, Dilly at 3, Maxey at 2.
that's fine. That's
Yeah, I
fine.
That's
like
not
it.
horrible.
I like it.
Because
All right.
Maxey was like square and square with Dillingham. If you could really
Malik
look at
Monk.
it.
5. Oh, no.
You got to think
Oh,
about when he was
no.
here, though.
Yeah, when he
Because you're
was
thinking about when he was
here.
here, and he
Yeah, I told y'all
was
5.
Yeah.
gross.
20 a game when he was here.
He was so good when he was here.
So Kai was right. Malik Monk goes at 2. Maxey goes at 5. That's
Well,
like
we can't
our
change it.
option.
You can't change it
around.
now.
We can't change it.
I'm sticking with my personal.
All right, you stick with your personal, but I got the group.
Landon, we messed up then.
I guess I feel like we have to. I feel like we have to put Monk at 5 because I feel like he's gonna give us like some like AD or DeMarcus Cousins for this last one, dude.
If he gives us John Wall, AD, or
Like John
Boogie,
Wall
it's
or
gonna
something.
mess it up.
Yeah, I think we gotta put Monk at 5.
Here
I'm trying to
goes-
get
So
in
Monk
your
at 5?
mind.
Here goes Ortega.
Because
Get ready.
Yeah,
if you
right.
put someone like if you put like Mark Pope in there,
I didn't even think about that. I should have.
Mark Pope's one.
I should have.
Get outta here.
I should have put Pope there as a
Go.
player, not a
Go.
coach.
I'm thinking about it now. I think a lot of this could move away if we put like Dillingham at 5 or something like that.
if only we could move
If
him.
only.
You guys can move him if you want.
No,
Who's the
no.
You guys wanna hold
we
him?
gotta
Who's
stick.
the
We
final?
gotta
All right.
stick with what we're
Final player is Tyler Hero.
doing. Okay.
Oh,
Who was our 2? Malik.
Year 2 is
Who's
Maxey.
I
Maxey.
think we end up putting Monk
Well,
at 5.
My 2.
Year 2 is Malik. You have Maxey at 5.
I guess it's fine.
So
Hey,
you're
man.
putting
I'd take
Tyler
Malik
at
over-
1. So you guys got
Yeah.
Tyler going at 1. So if you could
Yes.
adjust, what would you adjust it to?
Malik would be 1.
Yeah,
Malik would be
Malik.
1. Tyler, 2.
And
Probably
then-
Maxey
Maxey
3, Dilly 4, Bam 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Something like that, yeah,
would be
probably.
the correct way to
4 or
do it.
5 is probably
Interchangeable.
That's
6, 7. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
What? Don't bring up 6.
All right. That was good. I like that one, guys. That was
Okay.
good. All right. Next one is going to be difficult.
There's another one.
Oh, shoot.
Oh my.
There are more. I got 4 more.
Okay. Okay.
What did you
All
think
right.
this was going to be a
The
2-minute
game's going to
seg-
be long.
Okay.
Dude, this
here
is
we
how
go.
long it usually is. Our games are usually 10
Hey.
minutes. Okay, next one I got for you guys. First player, Reed Shepherd.
1.
3.
1.
God, I'm struggling.
He was such a good two-way guy.
He was a
here.
was-
you guys. He was a backup.
Let's
He
do all,
shouldn't
let's
have
all,
been back
let's
up.
all do
God.
No, you're right. He
personal
shouldn't
ones.
have it because what did they
We're
start
not
Rob
all
over
going
him?
to agree. So what you got?
I got Reed at 1.
What do you got?
I'm gonna play it conservative. I think I'm gonna put him at 3. I might regret that.
I got
but-
2. I'm going to read 2.
Okay, you're going Reed 2.
Yeah.
You got 1, 3, and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
Let's see.
Number
Time will
2.
tell.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
5.
At
he
Kentucky,
played
though.
here.
At Kentucky.
5.
5. Okay.
Put him at 4.
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Julius Randle.
2.
That should be number 1. Sorry,
That-
AJ, but he
2.
should be number 1.
2.
But
No, I like my list right now.
okay, dude.
I like my
Where do you
list.
got him?
Randall's at my 3.
Randall's at your 3. He's at
Really?
your 2.
He's
You
my
said
2. Yeah.
2.
Is that
Yeah.
my 2?
Okay. Jamal Murray,
4.
I guess I gotta put him at 5, but I love Jamal Murray. But 5.
and then Devin Booker.
3.
1.
I like my
Oh,
list. My
shit.
list.
AJ's
was
list
right.
didn't end up that
Oh
bad.
my
Mine's
gosh.
gotta be 1,
Mine's
even though it came off the
definitely better
bench.
than-
All right, let me
So-
get everybody's list real quick.
My list was Reed, Julius Randle, Devin Booker, and then it was who were the last 2?
SGA
SGA at 4
and Jamal Murray.
and
at
Jamal
5.
Murray at 5.
Okay, is this what we think it should be or what we already had?
What you have?
You can do what you had, and then you can do what you wish it was
So
after.
I had Booker, then Randall, then Shepard, then Shai Gilgeous, and then Jamal Murray. But I
Okay.
think I'd probably have Randall at number 1, honestly.
Yeah.
He was a beast when he was here.
He was
so.
so good when he was here.
So mine was Booker, Reed, Randall, Jamal, Shea. I think that's like the
Okay.
most-
So my list basically
Feasible
was the
one.
best one.
No, that's valid.
Sure.
That's valid.
I'm
I gotta
being
sneeze, hold on.
cocky.
No, bro. I'll forever stand behind Reed Shepard. I should have put him at 1, but you know,
Whatever,
Izzy
dude.
was making me nervous.
You gotta trust
All
your
right.
gut. You gotta trust your gut.
Next one.
Next one. Introduce him.
Kason Wallace.
3.
3, yeah.
He's at my 3.
Well,
Landon?
5.
5.
Five.
Why?
Well,
Why?
Kason
no,
was,
we'll go.
Kason was him.
We'll go 4 because you still got defense. I'll go 4.
Listen,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's a lottery pick.
Yeah,
was a
he's
lot of
3
picks.
for me.
Yeah.
He was almost 1 only because he walked into our communications class with his own merch on. So he was almost 1.
Okay.
I saw Dane Key walk past me one time with a sweatshirt with L's down in his own face and name on it. He said Dane Key, L's down, and then she had pictures of it. I was like, all right, dude.
All right, so
I'm going 2.
really okay.
For
Okay.
Kason.
I got him at 3.
I don't know.
All right. Tyler Eulis.
1.
2.
1.
Gosh,
Tyler
you're gonna have
Wilson.
AD on here or something, bro. I know it's kind of. Eulis is 3, unfortunately, but I would put him at 1 if I could just
Wow.
choose.
Tyler,
Okay.
one of the most
I know.
Boogie Cousins.
Number 1.
Yeah,
That's gotta be
1.
number 1.
2.
That's your 2?
Because I have Tyler Eulis at 1.
I got 4. I got 4 and 5 left. This is bad.
Me too. I got 4 and 5. Go.
Anthony Davis.
No!
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
4, I guess.
Oh my
All
god.
right.
AD at 4.
Now, you want to hear an even crazier one?
Oh, God.
Who's the 5th guy?
John Wall. Where are we putting him?
John Wall.
Give me now. Give me your
5,
1
I
through
guess.
5 here.
Okay.
What you guys said though,
list
not what
should
you wish
be-
it was.
Okay.
They said don't put Kason Wallace.
That's what I was laughing because I was like, that's a good pick, dude.
Okay.
That's a good pick.
So it should very easily go AD, Cousins, John, and then
Tyler Eulis. and
Tyler
Casey
Eulis,
Long.
okay.
That should
That's what
be
it
the
should be.
5.
What did you have?
You could. Well, what I had was AD at 4 and John Wall at 5.
Oh boy. Oops.
You could almost argue Eulis over John Wall. I could.
Landon, what was your
it's-
list?
It's pretty close.
So I had Boogie at 1, I had Eulis at 2, AD at 3, Wallace at 4, and then John Wall at 5. So it's not. It could have been worse. I
It
guess.
could be-
His is
could be
sounding
worse,
like
dude.
the best
Yeah.
of the
I was gonna
bottom.
say this is the best out of the 3.
My list was horrendous.
I don't even want to know, dude. What was it?
It was Eulis at 1, Boogie at 2, Kason at 3, AD at
man.
4, and John Wall at 5.
Yeah, that's pretty
Wow.
bad.
Yeah, but
All
we
right.
can all agree on what the list should have been.
We got
Yeah,
one
for
more?
sure.
We got 2 more.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
All right.
I
It's
like it.
fun, man.
I really like. I think it is fun. All right. Who do I want to give you guys first?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Chris Livingston.
5.
Whoa.
I feel like there's got to be a trick
No.
question if you're giving. I feel like
Chris Livingston was better than you were remembering.
That was like 2 years ago. You act like it was all so long ago.
18 and 9, bro. Like,
Oh my goodness.
He put up 18 and 9. No, he
No,
did
that's
not.
got-
Oh, that's
high
at
school.
Oak Hill. My
That's
bad.
at Oak Hill.
I was gonna
Oh
say,
my
there's
God.
no way. He put up 18
Dude,
and
Kai's
9.
out here going, you have no idea how good
no
Tim Duncan
idea.
was.
That's too good, bro.
He got all freshman honors, 7 and 5.
7 and 5's not bad, but that's not 18 and 9.
I'm thinking of Antonio Reeves. That's who I'm
All right.
thinking of.
Okay,
I
all right.
mixed guys
I'll
up.
put Livingston in my 4. Landon.
I'm putting Livingston. I'm gonna regret this so much, but I'm gonna put Livingston at 5.
Yeah, I'm with Landon, I guess.
Okay.
Also, now it's not crazy.
No.
All right.
I was thinking of
All right, he's on my 4. I changed.
Nick Richards.
Ooh.
Was Nick?
Nick Richards was not that bad.
See,
a
listen,
beast
here's my
junior.
fault. And for everyone watching, you'll know why I'm so stupid. But, like, I was around Kentucky fans growing up, but I wasn't, like, a ball knower. I'm just recently, like, in the Kentucky world, like, for the past 2 years.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm
so
at,
it's
too.
hard to look back.
But I was looking at some of these guys going through, and I was like, yo, some of these dudes did way better than you would remember.
2 blocks a game in his junior year.
With
Yeah.
15 and 8.
Yeah, that's really good.
I'll
He
give-
was a
I'll give him 3 spot.
3 spot.
I think, yeah, I think I'm gonna play conservative and still go 4.
Okay.
I
So you
him
got
at my
Chris
3.
Leeson at 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got
Three
my,
Richards.
I got Nick Richards at my 3. So
Okay.
I got Livingston at 4, Richards at 3.
Okay. Jared Vanderbilt.
He'll go
That's a
3,
guy I always forget that went to
He'll
Kentucky.
go
Yes.
3.
3.
Yeah.
I'll put him at my 5.
I'll go
Unfortunately.
4, I reckon. Yeah.
What did he put up at UK? Pull up his stats.
Yeah.
While you pull that up, I'll give you guys the next one. Kevin Knox.
Kevin Knox was
2.
nice. He's
He was
2.
nice. He's
Yeah.
6 and 8
That's not
for
bad.
Randy.
That's not bad.
He was really good on defense. I remember.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what he does now. He's just 3 and
Yeah.
D.
Yeah, so I got Vandy 4 and then 100%.
Kevin
Whatever
Knox.
you just said. Yeah, Kevin Knox at 2.
Yep.
Kevin
Knox
Knox
is
is nice.
This is all for
I
our
thought-
1 spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is all for your 1 spot.
Okay.
Isaiah Quickly.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's not
I'll
bad.
live with it.
I mean,
I'll
you mean
live with
Emmanuel?
this.
I mean Emmanuel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Isaiah.
That's fine. Emmanuel
fine.
Quickly
Yeah.
is
The one,
nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That works out.
Yeah, I think
It
that's
works
not
out.
bad.
You
I,
could put
I
Knox
might
at 1,
switch him
but-
with Kevin Knox, but
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think you
that's
go either
fine.
way. there.
No hate, but this is the weakest list of the couple we've
yeah,
had.
no. I
Yeah.
tried to put together a role player one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
That's fine.
Vanderbilt shot like 1-3 his year at Kentucky.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you bored?
One more. Ready?
Yeah.
Last one.
I was thinking about like the Celtics Magic series.
Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic. All
I'm
right.
so tired of the people. Oh, Celtics in 6. No.
All right, dude.
No.
Yeah,
Can we
get
just
outta here.
can we just talk about
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Back to Kentucky.
out here hating on
Back
my
to
Celtics,
Kentucky,
bro?
yeah.
These are my Celtics you're hating
My
on.
bad.
More
right
like
now.
the
Come on.
Lubs, not the Dubs. You
All
know
right,
what I'm
dude.
Kai thinks he's so.
PJ Washington.
Ooh.
saying?
2.
2.
2, 2, 3. Okay.
No, put him at 3. Put him at
3?
I'm
Yeah.
sticking with my gut. 2.
Okay. 2, 3, 3. All right.
2, 3, 3.
Ty.
Washington?
Put
The,
him
the
in.
only tie that I've ever heard of in my entire life, bro.
Put him at 5 because I feel like he was never healthy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
valid.
Yeah.
I'll go
I'll put 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, though, in his NBA career, where he only touched the court for 5 minutes at a time, I saw him live in Toyota Center, and he was nice. He made all those threes he shot. Shout out to when I snuck
He got-
down to half court.
Some
and-
Rockets lore. I was so convinced that Ty was going to be like our 6th man behind John Wall,
Really?
and they were going to go to the playoffs and be like. And I thought Boogie Cousins was coming too, and he's like,
You're like, yeah, the Kentucky Rockets.
yeah,
Dude.
that's how
Get
it was.
out of here.
Never happened.
All right.
Never
Never
happened.
close.
Oscar Shibwe.
1. Are you thinking about it?
That's
I don't know.
crazy.
I'm trying to think of some other
You
guys.
won
who
National
had-
Player of the
One player
Year.
of the year. Like,
I
Like,
know.
uh,
I know.
he-
Oscar,
dude,
it's
he's putting
his
up-
rebound sheet.
I was
boy,
gonna say
really?
you got to think about the rebound
paused
counter
for
that was
one
literally
second.
at the end of the
I'm
court.
just
I'm sorry.
considering.
Dude was putting up like 25
I,
rebounds a
remember, I
game.
went to like one game and he put up like 20 rebounds against Florida. It was nuts.
He literally is.
Yeah,
so
he's
crazy.
one.
I would like
One.
to thank
Are you
Oscar.
like bored of my game or something?
There's nothing to look
All
at.
right, sorry. Eric Bledsoe,
2.
Mini LeBron.
Penny LeBron.
I have to put him
2.
in my 3.
Two,
Yeah.
2, 3. So you
PJ
guys have
too.
your 1 left? Or no, your
I
one was
have
Oscar.
You know what?
I have my 4 left.
I
my
don't want my
5.
4 left. I feel like that could go bad. So we'll put Bledsoe at the 4.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
valid.
I have my
It's a
5
little-
left.
Oh, it's valid.
Yeah.
What you got left?
4.
4?
I got my 2 left, so we'll see what
All right.
Hopefully it's a guy I don't like.
Rajon Rondo.
Oh.
Dang.
He's at my 5.
That's your 5,
Dang.
dude.
Dang.
I'm okay with Rondo at my 2. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that.
Yeah.
Where you got him?
So yeah, I'm
my
fine with
4,
that.
but I
4?
would have him at my 2.
So what's the would-be lineup?
It would be Oscar, Rajon, PJ. No, Oscar, Rajon, Bledsoe, PJ,
Ty.
Ty.
Yeah.
That's
I'm-
probably
That
the way to do
should
it.
be the list.
Yeah.
Our lists were very
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool with mine. I had
Yeah,
I had
smart,
Sheboy,
bro.
Rondo,
Yeah.
Can't lie.
PJ, Bledsoe, and like I might switch Bledsoe and PJ, but that's about it. I
He had
think
the
we'll be
right
all
list. Like
That was good.
That's impressive.
That was green.
All right, that was
Solid.
fun. You guys like that? That was
Yeah,
Kentucky
that was
Blind
fun.
Rankings. I had a good time doing that, and I
Hey.
wasn't even playing.
Shout out Kentucky Blind
maybe some more of
Rankings.
that in the future.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm ready for it.
Maybe we can do a preseason rank of the team
Next
And
time.
and then look back on it and see
Yeah.
how
Ooh.
stupid we were.
We could.
I just know for all the people that are going to watch this, they're going to think we are very dumb for how bad some of our lists were.
Yeah, but that's the nice
It's
thing about blind
blind
rankings. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Is you never know.
Thank you for watching and listening to another week of Kernel at the Buzzer. Make sure to check out our website at kykernel.com and also check us out at Twitter at kykernelsports. Once again, I've been your host, Kai McClelland, and thank you for catching up with the Kernel.